They smiled, they waved their hands, they looked ahead, to cities, to family, to hope. Over 2,000 people were aboard the Titanic, but in that moment, it was simply a ship of dreams. April 10, 1912, Southampton, the largest ship in the world, sets out on its first and last voyage. On board, the wealthiest people of the era, immigrant families, travelers, workers, children, and a crew proud to serve this marvel of engineering. It wasn't just a ship, it was the pride of an age, a symbol of progress, power, and beauty. Titanic was called unsinkable. She was designed by Thomas Andrews, a gifted engineer, deeply devoted to his work, and no one on board doubted. This ship was perfection. On the decks, smiles. People looked into the camera with hope, with confidence, with the future in their eyes. They didn't know these would be their final photographs, that we, over a century later, would stare into their faces, trying to understand. What were they thinking? What were they waiting for? What did they never get to say? Women in elegant hats, men with canes and cigars, children running across the deck past the lifeboats that no one paid attention to. Yet, they were sailing toward new lives, some to America for freedom, some for adventure, some simply going home. And then came the night, silent, starry, so beautiful. It seemed nothing could disturb it. But suddenly, the silence broke. A lookout saw a shadow on the horizon, a bell, a warning, a sharp turn, a screech of steel, and the ship brushed against fate. At first, everything seemed under control. People stepped out onto the deck in their robes. They picked up ice from the planks, laughing, drinking tea, waiting for instructions. But water was already flooding the heart of the ship, quietly, invisibly, and Captain Edward Smith, a sailor with decades at sea, realized the Titanic would not survive the night. This masterpiece of human hands was doomed. There weren't enough lifeboats, not even close. The order was clear: women and children first. Many didn't believe it. Some refused to get into tiny boats, leaving behind husbands, fathers, brothers. Many never got the chance. There were couples who could not part, mothers searching for their children, gentlemen giving up their seats and standing on deck in coats and bow ties. That's how they left, silently, proudly, with dignity. The musicians kept playing. As the ship tilted, as the deck slipped beneath their feet, they stood and played. Their final melody was a prayer, a requiem. And then came the sound survivors never forgot. A deep groan, a crack, and darkness. The ship broke apart and sank into eternity. 1,500 people in freezing water, screaming, calling, struggling, and then silence. A silence that should never exist. Only morning brought hope. The first survivors, the first boat, the first tears, and the first questions. Why me and not him? Today, we see them again. Faces, eyes. A history we must never forget. Because they are not just part of a tragedy. They are alive, and they are still looking at us from those very photographs.